Hey everyone, it's Carla. I am so excited about this week's topic. This week we're going to talk about improvement. Improvement daily, weekly, monthly. So you're a few weeks into our Climb series, and I am so proud of everyone because you are doing amazing. And today's topic is going to only amplify that by talking about daily, weekly, and monthly improvements. And I thought we'd talk about the 1% rule. And many of you might have already heard about the 1% rule, but it's basically just getting better 1% every day. So it doesn't have to be massive changes to your schedule, your behaviors, your attitude, whatever that 1% you're applying to. It just has to be 1% improvement every day, which then leads to that compounding improvement, kind of like money. When you compound money, you're compounding positive, good behaviors and habits, one on top of the other. So it's just getting better 1% every day, which then becomes a compound movement. So small differences in performance can lead to very impactful changes in your life, which means that doing something small every day and then adding on to that has that compounding effect. So you don't have to change everything all at once. You don't have to become this different person overnight. It will naturally happen if you just begin to apply small changes to your behaviors every day. And that's what we're kind of talking about today is getting better 1% daily, and that just compounding on your days now become better weeks, now become better months, now become better years, just because you're using that 1% strategy. So I'm a big fan of James Clear, and if you don't know who James Clear is, he is the author of Atomic Habits. And we're gonna link a link to this video so you can go directly to his website and see everything he does. And we're also gonna link to a video that he did. It's kind of like a TED Talk that I think is very important, and it's going to delve more into the topics that we're going to talk about today. So I encourage you to also link to that link. Lots of links. Link to that link as well, because what he has to say is very, very important. So he talks about habits and Atomic Habits, and that's the book he wrote. And it's how to begin to add in new habits, healthy habits, and get rid of old ones that no longer serve you in your daily life. So taking a look at habits that serve you, that work towards the person you want to become, and habits that are preventing you from the person you want to become. So looking at your daily habits, and we all have them, and sometimes we don't even realize that we have them, but we do. And so looking at your daily habits and figuring out which habits are serving you and which habits are going to help move you towards the person you want to be or become, and those habits that are pulling you back and not aiding in your progression towards the person you want to become. So I thought we could do an exercise, and this is fun. I'm doing it, and I like it. So just fill in this sentence. During the week, I will partake in blank, on blank day, at blank time, in blank place. So if you are trying to implement exercise, we're going to take pull, for example. We'll just use that as an example since that's what we're doing. During the week, I will partake in Polga on Monday at 6 p.m. at at the Stiletto Gym. Or during the week, I will partake in Polga on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 6 a.m. in my pole space at home. Or during the week, I will partake in organizing my closet on Sunday at noon in my closet. Okay, so think of items or things or activities that you want to partake in that you think are going to be good habits that you can then do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and then they just become habits. So I know for me, during the week, I will run stairs on Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. and at my home, the staircase in my condo building. So think about things that you think that would serve you well as newfound habits, and provide yourself with a clear intention to do this activity on certain days at certain times. So then you're not wondering, like, you don't have excuses, I guess. Like, oh, I'll do that Monday. Well, I said I was going to do it on Tuesday at 6 a.m. Okay? This is also a good way to begin to hold yourself accountable, and it's a good way to start building confidence and credibility in yourself, because now you are holding yourself to a higher standard and you are completing a task or a new habit that you said you would complete. So again, during the week, I will partake in whatever that is on blank day at blank time and in blank place. So make sure that you're clear in those instructions into yourself. And these are specifically stating an intention that you want to implement a new behavior. So we've talked about intentions in week 1, I believe it was. And again, it's just another way to state an intention, but this time you want to implement or have a behavior become a habit that is going to be in line with the person you desire to become. You should also have a backup plan in place. And as you know, we are all busy women. We're busy mothers, we're busy wives, we're busy business owners, we're busy employees, we're busy whatever function we're performing in life. We are busy women. So things are going to happen. It's not going to be every day that you can get up at 6 a.m. because maybe you have a school function at 7 a.m. that day. It's not going to be every day that you're going to be able to work out at 6:30 p.m. because school activities or work activities. So have a backup plan in place and think about your backup plan. So if Mondays don't work for you to do Polga at 6 p.m., then maybe you decide you're going to do it Polga at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays because that works in your schedule. So you're just replacing one time for another, but in general, you are doing Polga at 6 p.m. on Monday nights because that's what you do. That's who you are. That's one of your habits. But we all know that habits, sometimes you can't do them the same time every day. Normally brush my teeth as soon as I get up in the morning, and normally that's 5:30 a.m. But on Sundays, I don't get up at 5:30 a.m. So I'll brush my teeth later. But it's still a habit. I've just extended the time to a different time that works better in my schedule for that day. So have a backup plan in place. Once it becomes a habit, you'll find a place for you to fit in that Polga or that workout or whatever it is that you want to become a habit. You'll find time because you won't feel complete until it's done. Like to brushing your teeth. You know how many of us can't go an entire day without brushing your teeth, and whether or not it happens normally at your 5:30 a.m. time slot or if it happens at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, it doesn't matter. You're still getting those teeth brushed, which is a habit that serves you well. So James Clear talks a lot about your environment, which I think is so very important. Your environment can help you become better in your habit making skills, or it can deter you or hold you back from your habit making skills. So let's talk a little bit about your environments. And your environment really influences your decisions and your desires to do something, to follow through with something. And looking at your environment, instead of making your environment more difficult for you to partake in your newfound habits, make it easier. So for instance, if your goal is, or your intention is to get up every morning and run, okay, or walk, then don't make it so you have to get up in the morning and search for your running shoes or your walking shoes. You have to figure out what you're gonna wear. You have to, all these obstacles, all these steps you have to overcome in order to just get your shoes on, get your clothes on, and get out the door. Make it easier for yourself. Have your shoes set out. Have your outfit that you're gonna wear set out, ready for you to go. Have everything right there, so in the morning you can just put it on and out the door you go. So it's not, you don't have any barriers to achieve or to success there. You have outlined what your desire is, what your intention is, and you've made it easier for yourself along the way because you've set everything, you've scheduled it, and now you have everything in place, so it makes it easier to get out the door and get on your run. If your desire is to eat healthier, maybe you buy apples, and instead of having crisper in your refrigerators because you forget that they're in there, maybe you put them in a bowl, beautifully displayed on your counter, so when you walk by, that's what you see, and it's easy just to grab an apple and eat that instead of eating something else, because it's just easier. So remember, your environment is very important when trying to establish newfound habits. So make it easier for yourself to overcome these challenges that you might have to overcome in order to make your new behavior a good habit that will propel you into your future self. All right, start with the starting line instead of the finish line. And I know that we all like to think about the outcome, what it's going to look like at the finish line, which is what we do, especially like in visualization and, dreaming and visualizing our future self, but also knowing that focus on that starting line. What's it going to take to get started? How do I start so I can end up at this finish line? You can't get to a finish line unless there's a beginning or a starting line. So focus on your starting line. What's it going to take for you to begin to establish new habits? What's it going to take for you to run a marathon? Okay, well, half a marathon. We'll just use that as an example. What's it going to take for you to start a half a marathon? Well, you're not going to run a half a marathon tomorrow. You've got to start somewhere. So maybe starting line. I start with laying my stuff out, and I get out the door and I, walk around the block 4 times. Okay, that's a starting line. And then next week, now that I have the habit of putting on my clothes and getting my shoes, and I have all that going, and I've ran 4 miles or walked 4 miles, now I'm going to do a half a mile. Okay, so small increments building up. Again, we talked about that 1% better every day, which kind of compounds and makes you 1% better every day. Everything we're talking about today is becoming better, 1% better every day. And again, it just starts compounding. So today, maybe it's I put my things out for my run tomorrow. Tomorrow I put them on and I get out the door. The next day I put them on, get out the door, and then the next day you just keep adding on. So every day you start that starting line, and then you gradually work your way to the finish line. So what ends up happening is things you do once or twice begin to fade away, but things you do daily or most of the time become a habit. Again, as I said earlier, sometimes we don't do things the same time, the same way every day, but if we do it most of the time, that same way, it becomes a habit. These things become the evidence for what you believe in yourself. So again, earlier, we talked about how if you're holding yourself accountable and you actually follow through, then this becomes more evidence that you are beginning to believe in yourself, and you have to start somewhere. And all these things work on both the mind and the body. So beginning your habits, following through with things, then will become the evidence and that you believe in yourself. And everyday actions you take become a vote for the person you are becoming. So every time you do something new, do something different, or instill a new habit in yourself, it's like a check, it's a vote for that new person you are becoming. So think about it that way. Every time I do something, I become 1% better every day. It becomes a vote for that new person that I am becoming. So if you want to become someone new, you have to start or take new actions in your life. What got you here won't get you there. What got you here won't get you there. So every time you start something new and you start to make new and different changes in your life, then you are becoming the new and different person that you want to become, and you're beginning to create a new identity. And sometimes we identify ourselves as one person, but we can't stay in that. We can't stay with that identity if we want to become something new and something different. So habits becoming 1% better every day is only helping you to identify with becoming a new person and having that new identity. You have to change your identity for what you believe to be true about yourself. So you have to start creating new habits that will be in line with the person you are becoming. So if my goal or the person I want to become is a healthier version of myself who takes care and takes pride in what she consumes and what she consumes in food and what she consumes, emotionally and mentally, then I need to create new habits so it works well with that person I want to become. So maybe I don't buy cakes and cookies and things that are in my house, because back to that environment, that makes my environment harder for me to create a new lifestyle because I have all these things around. So maybe I don't buy those. Instead, I buy the apples or the oranges or the things that are healthier, and I have them displayed. And then I go work out on certain times and certain days. And I, do my meditations on certain times and certain days. And I'm creating all these new habits, which now reflect the person that I want to become. So everything needs to be consistent. So think about, again, the identity that you are going for and the new person that you want to become and the habits that will help you achieve that. The goal is not to pole dance, for instance. So my goal is not to pole dance, it's to become a pole dancer. See the difference? I don't want to just pole dance, but I want to become a pole dancer, which means that that's a new identity. The goal is not to run a marathon. We used that earlier as an example, but to become a person, become a runner. So my goal is not necessarily to run a marathon, but the person I want to become is a runner. So think about goals and then that type of person that would develop those type of goals and who that person is, what their identity would be. And the way to bring something or becoming someone is by doing something new, okay? So if you want to become something different, you've got to do something different, okay? Every time you practice the habit, you are being that which you want to become. So let me repeat that again. Every time that you practice the habit, you are being that which you want to become. And your identity emerges from the habits that you have. And it's very true. You can change your habits, you can change your life. So if you can change your habits, you can change your life. Become 1% better every day. So homework. Last week you were on the poll 3 times. Remember that? I love that assignment. This week we're going back to the poll. So I want you to utilize at least one poll habit, something that you can do that's poll related, that you think will help you become the person you are striving to become. So think about one poll related activity that you can do that you can form a new habit over. For instance, if you want to climb the pole, so say we're going to take pole climbing as an example. I want to be a pole climber. We're just going to take that since the series is called Climb the Pole. I want to be a pole climber. So in order to become a pole climber, I need to get from the floor to the top of the pole. And so think about habits you can do to achieve that goal. So maybe I need a habit of strengthening my upper body. So on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to work on upper body strengthening by going to the gym at 6 a.m. And whatever activities you're going to be doing, push-ups, lifting weights, whatever activities you're going to be doing. Or to become a pole climber, I need to have the habit of being on my pole every day, 6 p.m. And attempt to climb or hold myself on the pole and get a little stronger, a little higher on the pole every day. Okay? So think about a pole habit, something you can do that's pole related, that a habit that you can begin to work on and implement in your life. I also want you to think about other goals in your life, the person you want to become. So if I want to become more confident, what are the habits that I need to develop every day to become more confident? And maybe it's working on your subconscious. So maybe every night before I go to bed, I will listen to subliminal messages as I sleep. Or, every night or every day I will read a series of affirmations. Or every day at 6 a.m. or Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. I'm going to partake in meditation for 5 minutes every morning. Whatever it is, I want you to think about a pole activity that you can do that you can to create a new habit in your life to get you to the top of the pole, or to do an entire pole routine, or to do a handstand or a headstand, whatever it is. And then also think about that's non-pole related, at least one that you can do. And good luck with this. I love habits. I think they're essential in becoming the person you want to become. And I could not wait for this week's activity and talk about becoming a better version of yourself daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and how to become 1% better every day. I'll see you next week.